project, as you are starting off online, I want you guys to all spend a few minutes and read over the project brief. Hopefully you guys are used to getting a paper copy of this in the studio and then leaving it behind on the desk and never opening it. But today I really want you guys to spend a few minutes and look over this, because once again, I've got here the rationale, which explains basically what I've said. The brief, please read over that. I'm not reading out loud for you. Some questions to help you develop your project. So think about these as you're starting to think about what you could do as part of your brainstorm. There's advice for each one of the different pathways for what's expected of you. That's also in the video, but once again, it's there in writing. Then there's the 4 themes that you guys can explore and consider working with in your projects, and this should work its way into your reflections and evaluations. There's the task that you need to do. So today it's idea generation and research. Tomorrow it's the research journal task. Skills development, as in the workshops, and there's a list of the workshops there. Experimentation. Basically, it's important for this project, and one of the things that I'm going to look for in assessing your work is evidence of your experimentation. Then feedback. Next Monday, you're going to have group feedback, and that's going to be part of this project. Documentation, it's really important that you're able to show what you've done. And then resolving ideas and completing work. So the end of the week is about sort of starting to think about how you're going to get things done. And once again, reflecting. You know those journal entries you guys have all been really good at keeping part of and hopefully have done every week for every project you've done? Make sure that you do them for this as well. Then in this, there's a timetable. That's a separate document and a separate video. There's your assessment criteria. This is the one for foundation students, so it will look different for those of you guys who are extended diploma, which are students that were here last year and this is their second year of the course. And for the access students, yours is going to look very different as well, because you've got a little less, because you're only in 2 days a week. So this is all that to read over. And then importantly, everybody seems to ask, like, what do I need to have for hand-in? What do I need to have for the project? What do I need to do? The work required for assessment, it's like literally here in 2 places. It's there's a checklist and also there written out for you. So for example, it's at least 4 sketchbook, 2 images on a blog post of the making of process, screenshots and observational drawings, evidence of blog on your participation in the workshops, a short write-up on your object telling why you picked these items and how you used to influence your work, the narrative treatment and relevant to your outcome, film and animation and game students. If you've created a film, it needs to be exported by 1920 by 1080p at 24 frames per second as an MPEG-4 file. It's a lot to say. Throw that on Slack, and also there'll be the link for you guys. And by the way, can you guys do me a huge favor? Could you stop naming your project by the name of the project and actually name it with your name? Because that helps us when we're assessing your work. Because I won't know that Jon Snow handed in something if he just calls it Final Outcome, because 10 other people called it Final Outcome. So make sure that you label your projects with like your name. So like if my name was Hodar, it'd be H Hodar. Or, you know, my name's Kat Singstacken, so it'd be K Singstacken. So then I can go, that's their film, yeah? So be sure to do that. And naming conventions, particularly when you get into the industry, becomes so important, yeah? Photography, film, game students, the presentation of your images, looking at items and how they've led to your final outcome. You might be presenting a concept or a script or a storyboard or a PowerPoint or a book. All of those things, have that ready to present. You will have time on the Monday at lunch to hang up anything if you want to hang up anything in the studio, especially if your work is an installation for feedback. Make sure that you complete the journal task, except if you're an Access student. You don't have to do that if you're an Access student, but make sure that you guys who are foundation students and extended diploma year 2 students, be sure to get on those journal tasks. The journal task is constructed in a way to help you guys think and develop your projects further. Then we've got the artist, you know, like the minimum 2 to 3 artists. Like people always ask, how many should I do? Well, that's a minimum, yeah? Your work, you might be looking at 5 or 6 artists and then just selecting 2. The artists that are in the journal task are picked because they work with relevant themes. Of course, you can work with things that aren't on the list, but maybe I've put things on the list as a way of helping you guys inform and challenging you from what you already know. And make sure that you write a reflective journal entry on how the project went and about the first 2 weeks of the project. So make sure on Fridays you spend a few minutes to write and evaluate your progress. So that is for everyone a summary of what the work is. And then you've got like the bit on health and safety. And also, if you're looking for like artist research, like in the PowerPoint, in your handout, I put like images in there that I think might be helpful. So check those out and try and think why I've put those images in there as well. I do try and give you guys lots of helpful advice, but horse to water, yeah? Hopefully just going over the project brief helps you spend a few minutes now, read over it carefully, and have a think.